You are in the shower or driving or lying awake, and you are in the middle of a conversation. You make your point perfectly. You say the thing you could never quite say out loud. The other person finally understands. There is just one problem. They are not there. The conversation is not happening. And it may never happen at all. If you do this constantly, rehearsing talks that never take place, arguing with people who are not in the room, you are not losing your mind. Your mind is doing something very specific, and once you see what it is, it stops feeling so strange. Start with what is actually going on because it reframes everything. Your brain is, in large part, a prediction machine. It is always running quiet simulations of what might happen next, so it is not caught off guard when it does. Point that machine at an uncertain social moment, a confrontation you are dreading, a conversation that matters, and it does the only thing it knows how to do. It rehearses. It runs the scene again and again, trying out lines, bracing for reactions, looking for a version where nothing goes wrong. This is not a glitch. It is your nervous system trying to keep you safe when the threat is not a tiger but a person and a moment you cannot control. And the core of it is usually not the conversation, it is control. When something matters and the outcome is genuinely uncertain, rehearsing can feel like the one thing you can actually do about it. If I just find the right words, the thinking goes, maybe I can steer this. Maybe I will not be blindsided again. Because that is often where this starts, in a moment where you were caught off guard. A time you froze or said nothing or walked away and thought of the perfect response an hour too late. The French have a phrase for that ache, the wit of the staircase, the answer that arrives only as you are leaving. Your mind hated that feeling so much that now it prepares, endlessly, and it tends to run in two directions. One is forward, toward a conversation you are dreading, a boss, a parent, a partner, drafting your case before it happens. The other is backward, toward a conversation that already went wrong, replaying it, but this time rewriting your lines so that you win. The forward rehearsals are about protection. The backward ones are usually about something quieter, a search for closure the real moment never gave you. You are not really trying to change the past. You are trying to feel just once the resolution you did not get. And it helps to be honest about who tends to live here. If you rehearse constantly, chances are you also care a great deal about how things land, you hate conflict, or somewhere you learned it was not safe to be caught unprepared. Research on repetitive thinking links this kind of mental looping to anxiety and to a habit psychologists call rumination, turning the same thought over and over without resolving it. Worth knowing, not to label yourself, but because it explains why the rehearsing can feel so responsible while quietly making you feel worse. Because here is the cost, and it is the part that gets missed. Rehearsing feels like preparation, but past a certain point it stops being preparation and becomes rehearsal for its own sake. Your body cannot fully tell the difference between a hard conversation and a vividly imagined one. So every time you run the scene, you get a small dose of the same stress, the tight chest, the racing thoughts, the adrenaline, for a conversation that is not even happening. You can spend an entire evening in fight or flight over a moment that exists only in your head, and there is a cruel twist. The real conversation almost never follows your script. People say the unexpected thing, so all that rehearsal often does not even make you calmer. It just makes you tired before you have begun. So what do you do with a mind that will not stop drafting? Not force it to stop. That rarely works, and it makes the looping louder. The first move is simply to notice and name it. To catch yourself mid-scene and think, clearly I am rehearsing again. That one sentence pulls you out of the movie and back into the room, and that is where a choice becomes possible. Then ask one honest question. Is this preparing me, or is it just protecting me from a feeling? Real preparation has an end. You gather your point, you decide what matters, and then you are done. If you have made the same case 40 times tonight, that is not preparation. That is the loop, and the loop is not trying to solve the problem. It is trying to soothe the fear, and it is not very good at it. And if there truly is a real conversation coming, give your mind something small and finished to hold. Not a script, 3 plain points. What you feel, what you need, what you are asking for. Simple enough that your brain can finally set the rehearsal down because the work is actually done. And for the conversations that already happened, the ones you keep rewriting, the kindest thing to see is this. The closure you want will not come from winning the imaginary version. It comes from letting the moment stay as unfinished as it really was, and deciding you are allowed to stop defending yourself to someone who is not even in the room. So why do you rehearse conversations that never happen? Not because something is wrong with you. Because your mind is trying a little too hard to protect you from being hurt and to resolve something that was left open. The work is not to silence it. It is to notice when the rehearsing has stopped helping, thank it for trying, and gently step out of the theater, back into your actual quieter life. If you recognize yourself in this, tell me in one word what your imaginary conversations are usually about, the future or the past. And if you want more quiet reflections like this one, subscribe to MindSpace. I am really glad you are here.